This is a plant cell. Now, imagine it as a country. The cell wall is the outermost layer of the cell. It is a rigid structure composed of cellulose and surrounds the plasma membrane and provides the cell with support and protection. Cells can have one or more cell wall, known as the primary cell wall and secondary cell walls. In a country, this is like a border patrol, or in a more literal case, the Great Wall of China. Its job is to protect the country against any potential threat. As we pass through the cell wall and arrive at the next layer, we arrive at the plasma membrane. It is also known as the outer cell membrane. It is composed of a lipid bilayer that is interspersed with tiny protein channels which allow larger molecules through. This is where nutrients, water, and waste are absorbed and excreted. This can be analogized to an airport of the country. People in the luggage who arrive at the airport have to undergo several checks to make sure they meet the requirement to enter and exit the country. The protein channel is alike to the shipping port, where larger objects that cannot board the plane to enter the country through the airport enter through the shipping port. The light microscope moves to the nucleus, which is the control center. It contains DNA, which is bonded to chromosomes. It codes for the production of proteins, which allows it to coordinate all activities in the cell. It is separated by the porous nuclear membrane, which protects the genetic information and houses all the molecules involved in processing and protecting this information. The nucleus is similar to a country's government or ruling power, as they control and organize a country. The porous nuclear membrane can be compared to the parliamentary building, which houses the government representatives and protects all the documents. All energy production requires some form of existing energy to be converted. In a plant cell, the requirement is the light energy. Chloroplasts are oval-shaped organelles which contain the pigment and its chlorophyll. Its job is to use the chlorophyll to absorb light energy and make it available for use in photosynthesis, which is a process where plants convert light energy to chemical energy to fuel cellular activities. The chloroplast is like a solar field, where the chlorophyll are individual solar panels. While the process of gathering energy is different, they both make use of light energy as a source, and the energy gathered is transformed to help other activities take place. While the chloroplast is unique to plant cells, the mitochondria exist in all eukaryotic cells. The mitochondria is the site of a process known as cellular respiration to produce ATP. Cellular respiration is a process where glucose and oxygen react to produce carbon dioxide, water, and heat. ATP is formed when protons leave the crystate and into the mitochondrial matrix. ATP is a molecule which serves as the energy storage molecule for the cell. The mitochondria are like the power stations as it produces all the energy for the cell, and the ATP are like electrons. Ribosomes are important structures which are found in the simplest of prokaryotic cells. Their purpose is to take amino acids and chain them together to synthesize proteins, which are needed for just about everything, from cell growth to repair and cell functioning. There is a direct correlation between the amount of proteins produced by a cell and the amount of ribosomes it contains. This structure can be analogized to a worker who assembles a complicated equipment from its basic materials. The proteins produced by the ribosomes are transported through the endoplasmic reticulum. The word means inside the cytoplasm net. The ER is an intracellular transport system, meaning that it can transport substances within the cell. There are two types of ER, the smooth ER and the rough ER. Smooth ER have no ribosomes attached to it, thus appearing to be smooth. The specific role depends on the type of cell it is in. For example, in the liver cell, it may serve to detoxify the cell. Its main role, however, is to transport proteins, synthesize lipids, and assist in manufacturing plasma membranes. Rough ER, on the other hand, has ribosomes attached to it, thus appearing to be studded and rough. Ribosomes embed itself onto the rough ER, and proteins created by these ribosomes can move directly into the lumen, where they can be modified and tagged for transportation about the cell or secreted from the cell. It is therefore also an intercellular transport system. The ER can be likened to a factory district, where proteins can be further modified and then transported. The Golgi apparatus, also known as Golgi body, receives proteins from the rough ER and packages them into membrane-bound vesicles, which then translocates to the plasma membrane. The vesicles fuse with the plasma membrane and secrete the contents to outside the cell. This process can be thought of as a transport company dispatching trucks or other vehicles to transport goods around the country. Lysosomes are a type of organelle formed by the Golgi apparatus. It is highly acidic and contains digestive enzymes which is able to break down complex molecules into simple compounds, which can be used to form new organelles. It is also able to digest substances which are brought from the external environment. The lysosome functions like a recycling station, where worn-out products are separated and materials are used to create new recycled objects. The vacuole is an expandable, fluid-filled space, which creates stoker pressure to keep the cell rigid and give the cell structural support. It is also where sugar, mineral, proteins, and water are stored. Moreover, it can also serve as waste disposal and protection. In the sense of storage, it is like a water dam or any large water body.
Created using Powtoon.